He comes home and rests. I come home and continue. You know when you feel like the weight of the entire house is on your shoulders? That everyone else seems to have the right to stop. Except you. That's what we're going to talk about today. You wake up before everyone else. The alarm goes off, and you already get up thinking about the list of things you need to do. You make coffee while mentally organizing the day. Wake up the kids. Prepare school lunch. Check if there are clean uniforms. Remember that you need to sign that permission slip. That there's a parent-teacher meeting next week. That the youngest one's medicine is running out. And all of this before even taking the first sip of coffee. You work all day outside the home, carrying the weight of responsibilities, deadlines, demands, meetings that run late, emails that never stop, that coworker who always throws responsibility on your shoulders, the boss who wants everything for yesterday, the pressure to be productive, efficient, to handle everything. And when you finally get home exhausted, with your feet hurting, with your head throbbing, the work continues. Meanwhile, he comes home and sits on the couch, turns on the TV, grabs his phone, rests, and nobody questions it. Nobody finds it strange. Nobody says anything. Because for him, working outside is already enough. He's already fulfilled his role. He's already done his part. But for you, working outside is just the beginning. It's only half the day. The other half starts now. Tell me here in the comments, do you also feel this when you get home? You walk through the door and already see everything. The pile of dishes in the sink, clothes scattered around, the house that looks like it was hit by a hurricane, toys on the floor, the dirty table, the trash that needs to be taken out. And that look from him waiting. Waiting for what? Waiting for you to solve it, because you always solve it, right? And even tired, even feeling like you can't stand one more minute on your feet. You continue, because stopping seems like a luxury that only others can have. Because if you stop, who's going to do it? Nobody, so you continue. Always continue. The truth is that many women feel exhausted. But keep smiling. Keep pretending that everything is fine. Keep answering, I'm great, when someone asks how they are. Because complain? Complaining means hearing that you're dramatic, that you exaggerate, that you complain too much, that you should be grateful for having a family, a job, a house, a husband. But the issue isn't about being grateful. The issue is about being human, and every human being has limits. Every human being gets tired. Every human being needs to rest, but it seems like nobody remembers this when it comes to you. How many of you have already heard that you complain too much? Leave it here in the comments. Inequality inside the home isn't always about who yells louder or who's in charge. It's not about fighting. It's not about open conflict. Sometimes it's silent. It lives in the small details that nobody sees, in the automatic gestures you do without even realizing, in the tasks that are yours without anyone having said they're yours. They simply became yours because you always did them. And now, if you stop doing them, nobody's going to take over. They'll simply wait for you to go back to doing them. He sits down for dinner. You serve his plate first, because if you don't serve it, he'll sit and wait. Or worse, he'll complain that he's hungry. Then you serve the kids' plates. Cut the meat into small pieces for the youngest. Get more juice for the girl. Remember to give them medicine. And when you finally sit down to eat, the food is already cold. It got cold while you were taking care of everyone. But you eat it anyway, without complaining. Because complaining would create conflict, and you're already too tired for one more conflict. Already without energy for one more argument that won't lead anywhere. So you swallow. Swallow the cold food. Swallow the anger. Swallow the frustration. Swallow everything. He finishes eating and goes back to the couch. Simply gets up and goes. Leaves the dirty plate on the table. Sometimes he even puts it in the sink. As if that were a big help. As if putting the plate in the sink were equivalent to washing, drying, putting away. And you? You get up. Collect the plates. Collect the glasses. Clean the table. Sweep the floor because food always falls. Wash the dishes, one by one, dry, put away. Clean the sink. Clean the stove. Mop the kitchen floor. And when you finally finish, it's already time to put the kids to bed. Brush teeth. Put on pajamas. Tell a story. Fix the blanket. One more kiss. One more glass of water. Mom, I forgot to do my homework. Mom, I need a project for tomorrow. Mom, I can't sleep. And you take a deep breath. Count to 10 and solve it, because you always solve it. Is there anyone out there who's also the only one who solves everything at home? Comment here. And when you finally sit on the couch next to him, exhausted, he doesn't even notice. He's there, relaxed, watching TV, on his phone, resting for hours, while you haven't stopped for a second, and then you remember that you need to separate the clothes to wash early tomorrow, that you need to respond to that message from school, that there are bills to pay, that your mother-in-law's birthday is coming and you still haven't bought a gift, that you need to schedule a dentist appointment for the oldest, that the shampoo ran out, that you have to do groceries this weekend, that the fridge needs cleaning, that important work project has to be delivered by Friday. Your mind doesn't shut off, never shuts off. Even when your body finally stops, your mind continues making lists, continues worrying, continues planning, continues carrying everything. Psychology calls this invisible mental load. It's that weight of having to remember everything. Even when the body asks for rest, it's the mind that doesn't shut off. Even when the body sits, it's having to be the emotional GPS for the entire family. You're the one who remembers Grandma's birthday. You're the one who knows that your son has a presentation at school. You're the one who remembers that the toilet paper ran out. You're the one who knows each child's shoe size. You're the one who remembers the vaccine, the appointment, the meeting, everything. And the worst part? Nobody sees this as work because it doesn't leave a visible mark, doesn't get your hands dirty, doesn't have a paycheck, doesn't have recognition. Nobody comes to you at the end of the day and says, "Thank you for remembering everything. Thank you for organizing our lives. Thank you for carrying this mental weight." No, this is invisible. And because it's invisible, people think it doesn't exist, think it's automatic, think it's easy, but it's not. My God, it's not. And this exhausts you. It exhausts you in a way that's hard to explain to someone who's never felt it. Because physical tiredness, that one you solve with a night's sleep. But mental tiredness, that doesn't go away. That accumulates day after day, week after week, until you're so exhausted that you don't even remember what it's like to not be tired. There are days when you just wanted to sit. Just that. Sit and do nothing. Not think about anything. Not solve anything. Not be responsible for anything. Just sit. Just exist. Just breathe. But then comes the guilt of seeing the messy house and not getting up to clean it. The guilt of seeing the dishes piling up and not going there to wash them. The guilt of seeing him resting peacefully and feeling anger. An anger you didn't even know you had. An anger that scares you. Because you don't want to be angry. You don't want to be bitter. You don't want to be that woman. The guilt of wanting to scream, "I'm tired too," but swallowing the scream because you don't want to be seen as annoying. As a complainer. As problematic. As that woman nobody can stand. As that unbearable wife. As that stressed mom. Have you also held back tears to avoid creating conflict? Tell me here below. The guilt comes when you try to rest, as if you didn't have that right. As if resting was selfish. As if taking care of yourself were abandonment. As if taking 5 minutes for yourself were a crime. And you look at him, lying on the couch, without any weight on his conscience, without any mental list running through his head, without any guilt, resting, simply resting, as if it were the most natural thing in the world. Because for him, it is. For him, coming home and resting is obvious, is deserved, is a right. And you think, why can he and I can't? Why can he come home and stop? Why can he sit and relax? Why can he turn off his mind? Why can he simply exist while you have to continue, always continue, without pause, without rest, without peace? Why has resting become a luxury for those who do so much? The answer is hard, but it's real. Because society has accustomed women to be everything, except human. Accustomed her to be a perfect mother, dedicated wife, competent professional, impeccable homemaker, family psychologist, nurse when someone gets sick, assistant teacher with homework, everyone's driver, event organizer, conflict mediator, confidant, caregiver, emotional provider, everything at the same time, everything all the time. And when she fails in any of these functions, she's judged, harshly judged, The house is messy. What a careless woman. The child got a bad grade. What an absent mother. The husband is dissatisfied. What a neglectful wife. She's tired. What a weak woman. When she asks for help, she's being weak. She's not handling it. She's not good enough. Because a real woman handles everything. A real woman doesn't complain. A real woman endures silently. When she complains, then she's being ungrateful, dramatic, exaggerated. Because there are so many people in worse situations. Because she should be grateful for what she has. Because complaining is ugly. Because a woman who complains isn't feminine. But when she stays silent and endures everything alone, that's it. Then she's a real woman, then she's strong, then she's admired. Look how she handles everything. She's incredible. I don't know how she does it. But admiration doesn't pay bills. Admiration doesn't wash dishes. Admiration doesn't decrease tiredness. Admiration doesn't hug you when you cry hidden in the bathroom at 3 in the morning because you can't take it anymore. Admiration is just a pretty word that people use to not have to actually help you. If you're identifying with everything I'm saying, subscribe to this channel. Here we talk about these pains that nobody wants to see. And you need to know that you're not alone in this. We're together, always. There's something that hurts more than overload. It's the silence. The silence that screams. The silence that hurts more than any word. His silence when you're clearly overloaded and he doesn't move. When you're running from one side to the other, visibly exhausted. And he continues sitting. He sees, he notices, but doesn't move. Because it's not his problem, because you always handled it. Because if you needed help, you would ask. But why do you have to ask? Why does helping your own family, taking care of your own house, need to be requested? Why isn't this automatic? Why doesn't he see it and simply do it? Is there anyone else out there who has to ask for everything? Otherwise nothing gets done. Comment here. I want to know if it's just me, the family's silence when you do everything and nobody thanks you. Nobody notices. Nobody values it. Because it became normal. You always did it. So it's expected that you continue doing it. Indefinitely. Until you die. Probably. Society's silence when you try to talk about this. When you try to put your finger on the wound. Then you become a radical feminist. Then you're trying to destroy the family. Then you're making a storm in a teacup. Then you're annoying. Then nobody wants to listen. You learn to swallow words, to hold back tears, to smile when you wanted to scream, because expressing tiredness became synonymous with weakness. And you were taught to be strong, always strong. Strong when you're happy, strong when you're sad, strong when you're angry, strong when you're exhausted, always strong. But being strong all the time breaks you. Being strong without rest makes you sick. Being strong without support destroys you, because strength without support becomes weight. And you already have too much weight. How many times have you wanted to cry, but held it back to avoid arguing? How many times did tears come to the corner of your eyes, and you took a deep breath, and swallowed them? Because crying would be admitting weakness, would open space to hear that you're exaggerating, that it's just tiredness, that tomorrow it passes, but it doesn't pass, never passes. Have you ever cried hidden in the bathroom? Leave it here in the comments, because I know it's not just me. How many times have you thought about leaving everything? About simply walking out the door and not coming back? About disappearing? Just to see if anyone would notice your absence. Just to see if anyone would understand how much you do. How much you carry. But you don't do it. Because someone has to do it. Because if you don't do it, nobody does. Because the house falls apart. Because the kids need you. Because everyone needs you. Everyone except yourself. How many times have you felt alone? Even surrounded by people. Alone at the full dinner table. Alone in the shared bed. Alone in the house full of voices. Because loneliness isn't about being physically alone. It's about carrying everything alone. It's about not having anyone to share the weight with. It's about not being seen, not being heard, not being valued. And the saddest part is that you're not alone in this feeling. At this exact moment, millions of women are feeling exactly what you feel. They're tired. They're overloaded. They're invisible. They're screaming in silence. But nobody talks about this openly, because talking about female exhaustion is uncomfortable. It's inconvenient. It's shining light on a structure that's worked for centuries at the cost of women's silent exhaustion. It's questioning what has always been this way. And questioning what has always been this way scares people, so everyone prefers to pretend they don't see it, that it doesn't exist, that everything is fine, while you drown in silence. There's a phrase that hurts when you really stop to think about it. He helps me at home. Helps. That word. That little word that seems harmless but carries a universe of inequality. Because when you say he helps me, you're saying that the responsibility is yours, that the house is your obligation, that the tasks are yours, and he kindly, generously, has the consideration to lend a hand, as if it were a favor, as if he deserved a pat on the back, as if it were cause for celebration. My husband helps me with the kids, as if the children were only yours, as if he were a part-time babysitter. As if raising his own children were assistance, not responsibility. My husband helps me with household chores, as if the house were only yours, as if he lived there as a favor, as if taking care of his own home were kindness, not an obligation for whoever lives there. How many of you have said this phrase, he helps me? Shouldn't we change this? Tell me here what you think. No, he doesn't help you, or at least it shouldn't be seen as help. He shares, or at least he should share, because the house belongs to both of you. The children belong to both of you. The responsibilities belong to both of you. But in practice, you're the general manager of the house. You're the one who remembers everything, who organizes everything, who plans everything, who executes everything. And when he helps, it's because you asked, because you delegated, because you explained how to do it, because you taught, because you supervised, and even that is exhausting. It's exhausting to have to ask, to have to say please. Wash the dishes, as if it were a favor, as if the dishes he dirtied weren't also his responsibility. It's exhausting to have to teach, to have to explain where everything is, as if he didn't live there, as if he were a visitor, as if he weren't a functional adult capable of figuring out where the laundry detergent is. It's exhausting to have to thank him, to have to say thank you for washing the dishes, thank you for bathing your own children, thank you for doing the bare minimum that any adult should do, as if it were exceptional, as if it deserved eternal gratitude. It's exhausting to have to supervise, to have to check if he did it right, if he put warm clothes on the kids, if he remembered the diaper, if he gave the medicine at the right time, because if he forgets, the fault will be yours. You didn't say. You didn't remember. You didn't warn him. You don't want a helper. You don't want someone who does it when you tell them, who executes when you delegate, who gives you a hand when you ask. You want a partner, someone who sees the dirty dishes and washes them, without you asking, without you having to create a schedule, without you having to put it on the calendar, simply because the dishes are dirty and need to be washed. Someone who notices that the child is hungry and makes a snack, who notices that the daughter is bored and suggests an activity, who notices that the house is messy and cleans it, without waiting for you, without needing you. Someone who looks at you, sees the tiredness on your face, sees the dark circles, sees the dropped shoulders, and says, sit, rest, I'll handle it. And actually handles it. Not halfway, not poorly done, but really handles it. But that seems like a distant dream, right? Seems like utopia. Seems like something impossible, because you've already gotten used to it, already resigned, already accepted that it's like this, that it's always been like this, that it will always be like this, but it doesn't have to be. What nobody tells you is that carrying everything alone has a price, and this price isn't paid in money, doesn't appear on the bank statement, doesn't come on the credit card. It's paid in mental health, in quality of life, in relationships, in yourself. You start losing patience faster. Small things irritate you deeply. You yell at the kids over silly things and then feel terrible. Guilty. What a horrible mother. What a monster. But you're not a monster. You're at your limit. You respond curtly to him with anger, with harshness, and then you feel guilty too. What a bad wife. What an unbearable woman. But you're not unbearable. You're exhausted. You cry in the shower because it's the only place where nobody sees you. The only moment of privacy. So you turn the shower on really strong so nobody hears and you cry. Cry everything you held back all day, all week, all month. Who else here has cried in the shower? Because I know there are many people. Leave a heart here in the comments if you've been through this. You feel that tightness in your chest that doesn't go away. That anguish. That feeling that you're going to explode, that you can't take it anymore, that you're going to break down. And maybe you are breaking down, little by little, silently. You wake up tired even after sleeping, because your body rested but your mind didn't, because you slept thinking about tomorrow's list, because you woke up in the middle of the night remembering that you forgot to do something, because your sleep isn't restorative. It's just an interval between one exhausting day and another. And when you try to explain how you feel, comes that phrase that hurts like a punch in the stomach. But everyone works, everyone gets tired, as if your tiredness were the same as anyone's. As if working 8 hours outside the home were the same as working 8 hours outside and 6 more inside. As if carrying the mental load of an entire family were comparable to simply executing your professional functions, and that's it. As if working outside and working inside the home simultaneously, without pause, without rest, without recognition, were the same as just working outside and then being able to rest. As if mental load were nonsense. As if emotional exhaustion were drama. As if you had invented all of this, but you didn't invent anything. Psychology has already proven, through numerous studies, women who accumulate work outside and inside the home, who carry the family's mental load, have significantly higher rates of anxiety, depression, burnout, and various other mental health conditions. It's not nonsense. It's not exaggeration. It's not whining. It's a real consequence, measurable, scientifically proven of a real overload. It's the body collecting the bill for years of carrying too much weight. It's the mind collapsing from working non-stop. It's health crumbling because you spent years putting yourself last. And you know what's worse. Many times, you blame yourself. You look at other women and think they can do it, that they handle it, that they work, take care of the house, the kids, the husband, and are still always beautiful, smiling, impeccable. You think the problem is you, that you're weak, that you're not good enough, that other women can do it. So why can't you? That maybe you're not good enough, that maybe you need to try harder, try more, do more, and then you demand even more of yourself, require even more of yourself, exhaust yourself even more, trying to reach an impossible standard, trying to be the woman who handles everything, the superwoman, Wonder Woman, but it's not you. It was never you. The problem was never you. Have you also felt guilty for not handling everything? Tell me here, because we need to talk about this. It's the system. It's the structure. It's the absurd expectation, inhuman, impossible that women have to be superheroines without a cape, without powers, without rest, without flaws. It's the idea that women can't be human, can't make mistakes, can't get tired, can't falter. We grow up hearing stories of strong women, warrior women, women who endured everything, who raised children alone, who worked 3 jobs, who never complained, who never asked for help, who never cried, who never gave up. And these stories are beautiful. They're inspiring. They're important. But they're also dangerous. Very dangerous. Because they romanticize sacrifice, transform suffering into virtue, make it seem like the more you endure, the more value you have, that the more you suffer, the stronger you are, that the more you sacrifice, the more worthy you are. They make it seem like a good woman is a woman who endures silently, that a strong woman is a woman who never complains, that a real woman is a woman who erases herself for others. But sacrifice shouldn't be the norm. Suffering shouldn't be expected. Exhaustion shouldn't be a badge of honor. Self-destruction shouldn't be proof of love. You don't need to destroy yourself to prove you're strong. You don't need to erase yourself to prove you love. You don't need to carry the world on your shoulders to be worthy of love and respect. You don't need to completely empty yourself to be considered a good mother, good wife, good woman. If you made it this far, subscribe to the channel and turn on notifications, because in the next videos we're going to continue talking about this, about how to change this reality, about how to set boundaries, about how to demand real partnership. And you need to be here to hear this, agreed? You can be strong and ask for help. You can love and set boundaries. You can take care of the family and take care of yourself. You can be a good mother and still need rest. These things aren't opposite. They can coexist. But nobody taught you this, right? When did loving become synonymous with erasing yourself? When did taking care of the family become synonymous with forgetting yourself? When did being a good wife and good mother become synonymous with not having the right to tiredness? To rest, to your own life? Tell me here in the comments. When did you realize you were erasing yourself? The truth is that we were taught from very early on to empty ourselves for others, to give everything, to be everything, to do everything. And when there's nothing left, when you're completely empty, exhausted, with nothing more to give, we think the problem is us. But the problem was never you. The problem is a system that benefits from your exhaustion. That works because you exhaust yourself. That maintains itself because you endure silently. There's a question that many women ask themselves, usually in silence, usually with guilt. Does he really not see? Or does he see and pretend not to see? And the answer, the honest answer, is a bit of both. Many men were raised in a patriarchal structure where women care and men provide, where household tasks are women's things, where taking care of children is the mother's role, where resting after work is a masculine right, but not feminine, where the house is her responsibility, even when both work outside. So no, he probably doesn't see. Not really. Not because he's a bad person, not because he hates you, but because he was never taught to see, never needed to see, never had to carry this mental load, never had to juggle 1,000 tasks at the same time. For him, the house simply works. Things simply happen. Food appears on the table. Clean clothes appear in the closet. The children appear clean, fed, happy, as if it were magic, as if it didn't require work, as if it didn't require you. He doesn't see the hours you spent making all this happen. He only sees the final result. And since the result always appears, he assumes it's easy, that it's quick, that it's not real work. But this doesn't absolve him of responsibility. Because ignorance isn't an excuse for injustice. Not knowing doesn't justify not doing. Not noticing doesn't justify not helping. He's an adult. He's capable. He can learn. He must learn. Do you agree with this? Or do you think I'm being too harsh? I want to know your opinion here below. He needs to learn to see. And you need to learn to demand that he sees. Not aggressively. Not creating war. Not turning your home into a battlefield. But clearly, firmly, directly saying, without fear and without guilt, I'm tired too. I need to rest too. I also deserve to sit without guilt. I also deserve to disconnect. I'm also human. Because as long as you continue carrying everything alone in silence, nothing will change. He'll continue thinking everything is fine, that you can handle it, that you don't mind, that you're not bothered, that it's just like this. But you do mind. You are bothered, and you have every right to be bothered. And it's time to speak. It's time to break the silence. It's time to stop swallowing. Changing this dynamic isn't easy. I'm not going to lie to you saying it is, especially when you've been carrying everything for years. When this has already become automatic, when it's already become a habit, when you yourself have already internalized, already accepted, already resigned that it's your obligation. Especially when you've already tried to speak and it didn't work. When you've already tried to ask for help and heard that you're exaggerating. When you've already tried to explain and were ignored. But it's possible. It's totally possible to change this. Other women have succeeded. You can too. And it starts small. It starts with small things. With small changes. With small refusals. It starts with delegating tasks and not redoing them when they don't come out the way you would do them. Because if every time he washes the dishes, you go there and wash them again the right way, he'll stop washing. He'll learn that you'll do it anyway. So why would he make an effort? Leave the dishes the way he washed them. Even if there's soap, even if they're not perfect, he washed them. Great, they're washed, done. Who here has already redone something their husband did? Raise your hand in the comments. It starts with leaving dirty dishes in the sink if you're tired. With going to sleep even with the kitchen messy, with not making dinner and ordering food, and doing this without guilt, without apologizing, without justifying yourself. It starts with saying no without giving an explanation, without giving an excuse. Just no. I can't today. No. I'm tired. No. I'm not going to do this, period. It starts with asking for help without apologizing, without doing that whole introduction of sorry to bother you. But could you... No, just, I need you to make dinner today. I need you to take the kids to school tomorrow. I need you to solve this. It starts with you recognizing internally. That rest isn't luxury. It's not a prize. It's not something you have to deserve. It's necessity. It's a right. It's health. It's survival. Have you stopped to think about the example you're giving your children? Because they're seeing everything. They're learning from everything. And what are you teaching them? If you have daughters, they're learning that women can't rest, that women have to handle everything, that women have to serve, that female tiredness doesn't matter, that a woman's value is in how much she endures, that loving is erasing yourself, that taking care of others is forgetting yourself. Is this what you want to teach your daughters? That they repeat your pattern? That they suffer what you suffer? That they carry what you carry? If you have sons, they're learning that men don't need to do anything at home, that household tasks are women's things, that rest is a masculine privilege, that women exist to serve, that a man's role is just to work outside and that's it, that taking care of your own home and your own children is a favor, not an obligation. Is this what you want to teach your sons? Tell me here what you think about this. Breaking the cycle isn't just about you. It's not just about your tiredness. It's not just about your overload. It's about the next generations. It's about raising different children. It's about creating a different society. It's about raising children, boys and girls, who understand that the house is the responsibility of everyone who lives in it. That tiredness has no gender. That household tasks have no gender. That caring isn't a feminine role. It's a human role. That partnership is about sharing, really sharing. Not about one carrying and the other resting. And this starts now. It starts with you. It starts with your home. It starts with your choices. There comes a moment, and maybe that moment is now, when you need to sit down and talk, really without a cell phone screen in between, without the TV on, without kids around. A real conversation, eye to eye, about what you're feeling, without yelling, because yelling will only make him defensive and nothing will be resolved, without accusations, because accusing will only make him shut down, but also without minimizing what you feel, without weakening your words, without softening reality. You need to say, in so many words, clearly and directly, I'm tired. I work all day outside the home. I face traffic, pressure, stress, demands, and when I get home, I continue working. I don't stop. I don't rest meanwhile. You arrive and sit. You disconnect. You rest. And this isn't right. It's not fair. It's not partnership. He might get defensive. It's quite likely, actually. He might say he works hard too, that he gets tired too, that he also faces pressure, that he also gets stressed. And all of this is true. Nobody's denying his tiredness. But then you respond, calmly but firmly. I know you work hard. I know you get tired. I'm not diminishing that. But when you get home, you sit. I can't sit. You disconnect. I can't disconnect. You rest. I continue. You have the right to arrive and stop. I don't have that right, and I also deserve to have it. Who here has already tried to have this conversation? How did it go? Tell us in the comments. The conversation might be uncomfortable. It might generate tension. It might create a bad atmosphere for a few days. But the conflict already exists. It's just being swept under the rug, being ignored, being silenced. And ignoring doesn't solve it. It only accumulates, only grows, until the day you explode, or until the day you get sick, or until the day you simply can't take it anymore. It's better to have a difficult conversation now than a collapse later. It's better to create temporary discomfort than to maintain a permanently unsustainable situation. And when you speak, be specific, very specific, because men, in general, don't understand when you say vague things like, I need more help. Because he'll say, but I help, and will point to that time he washed the dishes last week. And technically, he's not wrong, he helped. The problem is that helping isn't enough. It's not about helping. It's about sharing. So be clear, be direct, be concrete. I need you to wash the dishes every night after dinner. Not just when I ask. Not just when you think it's necessary. Every night. It's your responsibility now. I need you to put the kids to bed 3 times a week. Tuesday, Thursday, and Saturday. You read the story. You give the bath. You brush their teeth. You solve everything. I don't even want to know. It's your responsibility. I need you to go to the supermarket once a week. Not with a list I made. You open the fridge. You see what's missing. You make the list. You go. You buy. You make the decisions. You carry the mental load of this. Not me. Do you think asking like this, so directly, is good, or is it being controlling? I really want to know your opinion. Because sharing responsibility isn't just sharing execution. It's not just him doing when you tell him. It's also sharing the mental load. It's sharing the planning. It's sharing the organization. It's sharing the worry. It's sharing the remembering. It's not you planning and him executing. It's him also planning, also thinking, also making decisions. Also carrying that mental weight of, is the milk running out? Does the medicine need to be refilled? Has that bill been paid? This weight has to be shared, because this weight exhausts as much as the execution, sometimes even more. And he might resist. He might say he doesn't know how to do it, that he never did it, that he doesn't know how. And then you respond, "You're an adult. You're intelligent. You learn, the same way I learned." You can learn. I wasn't born knowing. I learned by doing. You'll also learn. Don't fall into the trap of convenient incompetence. You know what that is? It's when he does it poorly on purpose, or claims he doesn't know how to do it. So you give up and do it yourself. Don't fall for it. He burned the rice? That's okay. Next time it'll come out better. He put colored clothes with white clothes and stained everything. It happens. He'll learn. He forgot to pick up the kids from school. His problem to solve. Call there. Apologize. Pick them up late. You're not his mother. You're not his teacher. And you're definitely not his maid. He's an adult. He can and must learn. This is the hardest part to say, but it's important. It's necessary. You need to hear this, even if it hurts. If you talk clearly, honestly, vulnerably, if you explain how you feel, if you ask, in so many words, what you need, if you give real chances for change, and nothing changes, if he continues thinking you're exaggerating, that you complain too much, that it's always been like this, that my mother always did it like this, that you're being influenced by these modern ideas, that you're trying to boss him around, if nothing you say seems to matter, if nothing you feel seems to have value, if he continues sitting on the couch while you continue drowning in tasks, then you need to make a decision. A difficult decision, a decision that only you can make. Has anyone here been through this? Trying to change and nothing happening. How did you deal with it? I need to hear your stories. Are you going to continue exhausting yourself for someone who doesn't value your effort? Who doesn't see your tiredness? Who doesn't respect your humanity? Who thinks you exist to serve? I'm not telling you to end the relationship. I'm not telling you to separate. That decision is yours, only yours. And it's complex. It involves finances, children, feelings, history, 1,000 variables I don't know. But I'm telling you to ask yourself, honestly, looking deep into your soul, what price are you paying to maintain this? What is the emotional, mental, physical cost of continuing in this dynamic? Because a relationship can't be about one person carrying the other. A healthy relationship isn't about unilateral sacrifice. It's not about one emptying themselves so the other can be filled. It's not about one working and the other resting. A relationship is about partnership. It's about sharing weight. It's about taking care of each other. It's about both growing together. It's about mutual respect. It's about recognizing each other's value. It's about sharing responsibilities, joys, sorrows, work, rest. And you deserve that. You deserve real partnership. You deserve to be seen. You deserve to rest. You deserve more. Part 5, close your eyes for a second. Just a second. And imagine with me, you come home after a long day at work. You open the door. The house is clean, organized, smells good. The kitchen is shining. The dishes are washed and put away. The floor is clean. You walk in. The kids run to hug you. They've already bathed, already ate, already did their homework. They're in pajamas, smelling good, happy. And him? He's in the kitchen finishing preparing dinner. Not just any dinner. That dish you love. He prepared it for you because he knows you like it, because he wanted to please you, because he thought of you. You sit at the table. He serves your plate. You eat slowly, savoring. The food is hot. It's delicious. And you didn't have to do anything. After dinner, he collects the plates. You stay seated. He washes, he dries, he puts away. You just stay there, seated, resting. And when he finishes, he comes to you, sits by your side, and says, "Now relax. You worked all day. You deserve to rest. I'll handle the rest." And you sit on the couch, without guilt, without that mental list running through your head, without that anxiety about everything that still needs to be done. You just sit and rest, really. What would this be like for you? Comment here. I want to know if you can't even imagine this happening. It would be liberating, right? It would be incredible. It would be fair. But you don't need to just imagine. You don't need to live only in fantasy. You can live this, really. Can demand this. Can build this. Can have this. Resting isn't selfish. Never was. Never will be. It's self-care. It's mental health. It's basic necessity. It's human right. It's survival. You spend all day taking care of everyone. The boss, work colleagues, the kids, him, the house, everyone. But who takes care of you? Who worries about you? Who notices when you're at your limit? Who hugs you when you cry? Who tells you rest? I'll handle it? If the answer is nobody, if there's no one, if you're completely alone in this, then it's time for you to start taking care of yourself. Because if you don't take care, nobody will. And you'll exhaust yourself completely. You'll get sick. You'll collapse. And this includes setting boundaries, firm, clear, non-negotiable, saying no, without guilt, without justification, just no. This includes delegating and not redoing, and not supervising, just delegating and trusting that the person will do it, or will learn by doing. This includes stopping carrying the world alone, stopping being the only one responsible for everything, stopping thinking that if you don't do it, it won't get done. Let it not get done, and let whoever should do it deal with the consequences. Can you do this? Can you let things not get done, or does anxiety not let you? Tell me, while you can't completely change the household dynamic, you need to find ways to preserve yourself. Small moments of breathing, small pauses, small refusals. Couldn't make dinner today? Order delivery. And don't feel guilty. Couldn't wash the clothes? Leave it for the weekend. And don't feel guilty. Couldn't be the perfect mother, the perfect wife, the perfect professional? Great, because perfection is a prison. You don't need to handle everything to be enough. Read that again. You don't need to handle everything to be enough. You're already enough. Tired, imperfect, overloaded. You're already enough. And anyone who makes you feel otherwise doesn't deserve your energy. Society taught you that strength is enduring. That strength is continuing. That strength is never giving up. But you know what real strength is? It's stopping. It's looking at your life and saying, this can't go on like this. It's setting boundaries even when they call you selfish. It's resting even when the house is messy. It's prioritizing your mental health, even when they demand perfection from you. Sometimes, being strong is simply stopping, and that's okay. Because even those who take care of everyone need to be taken care of too. If you're hearing this and feeling tightness in your chest, if you're holding back tears, if you're thinking it's exactly how I feel, know that you're not alone. Millions of women live this reality. Work outside, work inside, exhaust themselves. Stay silent, continue. But we don't need to continue like this. We can speak, can demand, can change. Who here is ready to start changing? Leave a yes here in the comments. And you know the first step? It's stopping blaming yourself. You're not weak for being tired. You're human. You're not dramatic for complaining. You're being honest. You're not selfish for wanting to rest. You're being fair to yourself. The tiredness you feel is real. The overload you carry is real. And you have every right to talk about this, so if you made it this far, I want you to know something. You are seen. You are heard. You are valued, even if nobody in your house notices how much you do. I notice. The thousands of women watching this notice. And we're here with you. You don't need to be strong all the time. You don't need to carry everything alone. You don't need to smile when you want to cry. You can rest. You can ask for help. You can demand partnership. And if nobody around you understands this yet, keep speaking. Keep setting boundaries. Keep putting yourself first. Because you matter. Your tiredness matters. Your mental health matters. You matter. Tell me here in the comments, what will be the first change you're going to make in your life after watching this video? I really want to know if this conversation hugged you in some way, if you felt that someone finally understood what you're going through. Subscribe to the channel and turn on notifications. Here, you're not alone. Here, we talk about what hurts, about what's exhausting, about what nobody wants to see. And we talk so you know it's not craziness, it's not nonsense, it's real. And you deserve to be heard. You deserve to have your pain validated. You deserve to rest. Share this video with that friend who needs to hear this, with that woman you know is going through the same thing. Because the more we talk about this, the more we expose this reality, the more women will feel empowered to change. And leave here in the comments which part of the video touched you most, which phrase you'll carry for life, what you identified with most, because I read all the comments, and your story matters. Your voice matters. In the next videos, we're going to talk about how to have difficult conversations with your partner, about how to establish boundaries without guilt, about how to deal with resistance when you start to change, about how to raise children who understand real equality. And you need to be here for this. So subscribe and be me so, turn on notifications, and stay with me on this journey, because we're going to walk together. We're going to support each other. We're going to grow together. And we're going to change this reality, one woman at a time, until the next video. And remember, you don't need to handle everything to be enough. You're already enough exactly as you are. Tired, imperfect, real, human. Rest, you deserve it. You always deserved it. And when someone questions your tiredness, when someone says you complain too much, when someone minimizes your pain, remember this video. Remember that thousands of women feel the same. Remember that you're not making it up. Remember that you're not alone. Your pain is valid. Your tiredness is real. And you deserve more, much more. A tight hug to each one of you who made it this far. You're warriors. You're strong. But you're also human. And it's okay to need rest. It's okay to ask for help. It's okay to not handle everything. Until the next video. And don't forget, you matter.